Okay, Morgan, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about SEMRUSH and whether or not it's worth the price tag. And at the very end of this video, we're also going to include a $29 competitor alternative for you to consider if you're on a budget. I'm Morgan Overholt. I'm a six-figure freelancer turned six-figure blogger. Elena, who are you?
I'm also approaching six-figure freelancer and blogger, and I work in collaboration with Morgan.
Yep. And today, guys, we're going to talk about one of our absolute favorite tools that we use when we're blogging, SEMRUSH, because I know a lot of y'all are asking the question every day, hey, look, is it really worth it to use an SEO toolkit like SEMRUSH or Ahrefs or any of the ones out there? And today we're going to kind of talk about, whether or not we think it's worth it and why we think it's worth it, or maybe why certain functions we don't think is worth it. We'll get into that too.
Very basically, what is SEO and what is SEMRUSH?
It stands for search engine optimization. And it's all about how to get your articles to rank on Google, essentially, to get those like coveted, first position, second position, third position spots, or at least get on the first page of Google. So which is super important and crucial for any successful blog to be able to do. And there are actually tools out there that really tell you how to do it, because I'm going to tell you, when we first started blogging, we had absolutely no idea how to make SEO work. In fact, I used to think it was just like sprinkling in some random keywords and like writing about whatever you wanted to write, and poof, the traffic would just come to you, field of dream style. And that is not the way that it works at all. And it turns out we knew nothing about SEO. And we really ended up getting kind of a crash course because we subscribed to SEMRUSH based off of other really successful bloggers' recommendations. And we've never looked back.
So SEMRUSH is that tool that gives you the data specifically about what people are searching for on the internet, essentially, and what you can do to implement strategies to make sure that you're one of those people that people find on the internet, assuming you want to be found. But basically, if you have a business, it's 2022, you're going to be on the internet and you want people to find you that way.
Talk about more about blogs here, guys. Like any website, this is applicable to any website, and SEMRUSH can help you rank. So pretty big deal. All right. Question number one, can you use it for free? Yes, you can. There are two different ways to use it for free if you want to try it out. The first way to do it, I've detailed in my blog, which I will link below so you can get the step-by-step instructions on how to do this. But the first way to do it is just to create an online account. When it comes to the trial, you can just skip it. So you don't have to put in any of your credit card information, and boom, you're in, and you can use SEMRUSH on like a really, really super basic level. Honestly, I think that it is so basic that it's really not very helpful, but what it does do kind of gives you an idea of how it works and like how the tools work and all that stuff. So if you're a little hesitant to put your credit card in, you can do it that way. Second way to do SEMRUSH for free is just signing up for the free trial, which I 100% recommend, because it's like I think 7 days. And you get, the full, 7 days, and you get the full SEMRUSH, and you can figure it out and you can play around with it. And heck, you can even write down, article ideas and write down some of the instructions that it gives you. That free 7 days, you can really kind of make work for you. I mean, gosh, I think that would be an excellent springboard for any brand new website, or any even existing website, if you're into looking for new content ideas or optimizing your articles, etc. So highly recommend just signing up for that 7-day free trial and seeing how it goes from there. Question number two, how much does it cost if you want to sign up for a paid plan? All right. So there are 3 paid plans in SEMRUSH. There's Pro, there's Guru, and there's Business. I'm just going to tell y'all, we use Pro. I think that Guru and Business are really not worth it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm sorry. I love you, SEMRUSH, but I just don't think they're worth it for most small to medium-sized websites, and I include us in that. And our website, our biggest website at the time of this recording, gets 6 million views a year, 6 million. And I still say the basic Pro plan is all you really need. The only thing you might want to consider upgrading to is the Guru plan, because you do get a few more tools on Guru, like a content optimizer, but it's an extra $100. So to me, it just seems a little expensive for that, especially when you can get those tools elsewhere for a little bit less. So I say the Pro plan is absolutely worth it. And by the way, the pricing, again, at the time of this recording could change. So do your own research. It is $119.95 for Pro. It is $229.95 for Guru. And it is $449.95 for Business. And the biggest benefit to having Business is you get just like a bunch more like reports and stuff that you can run, and a bunch more queries that you can run every month. And like I said, we have a website that hits 6 million views every year. I can't imagine doing any more queries and using SEMrush anymore than we already are. So, I mean, whew, if you need the business plan, good for you.
If you need the business plan, you're probably not watching this video.
Right. Question number 3, is SEMrush easy to use?
I would say maybe. So I think SEMrush can be a little bit intimidating for someone who's new. Honestly, I don't even know that I could fully explain each tool that it offers, if I'm being completely honest, because there's so much in there. There's so much data in there. There's so many numbers in there, which is amazing for, people who want to learn more about like what people are looking for on the internet and how it relates to your website. But it can be a little bit intimidating, I would say. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say that when I first started using SEMrush, I did find it kind of intimidating. But the thing that really helped us actually was just scheduling a walkthrough with one of the SEMrush pros that works at SEMrush, which they'll do for you again at the time of this recording. They did for us, they did it for free. And they'll even kind of give you a glimpse of some of the guru tools that, in the upgraded package and kind of show you how to navigate the platform. And to me, after we did that, it was a lot easier for me to kind of understand. And their customer service is like, I mean, like Ahrefs, they don't even have a phone number you can just call. SEMrush, I think it's one of the many things they do a lot better because you can just hop on the phone with them. You can send them an email, speak to a real person, skip the robot, and they've got answers to all of your questions. So I think that, the UI is a little confusing, but the customer service and the training available like makes up for all of that, in my opinion. And now it seems easy. Now I'm like a little duck to water. Now I'm like, ooh, swimming around. Next question. Is SEMrush the best tool for SEO?
I mean, I think it's the leading industry standard, I would say. I don't know that we've done a deep dive into other tools, but it gives so much data. I can't really imagine having more data than what it gives us. And in a mostly easy to understand format once you kind of poke around and you get a little bit more familiar with it.
Yeah, I mean, basically it's SEMrush and Ahrefs or I never say it right. Ahrefs. I guess is how you see it. Those are like kind of the two big dogs on campus. And honestly, they're fairly comparable. The thing is that SEMrush is quite a bit more affordable for the features that you get. In fact, even though Ahrefs has a much, I want to say much cheaper, slightly cheaper introductory plan at just $99 per month, it's far more watered down than SEMrush's introductory plan at $119. And to actually get a truly comparable standard, you've got to upgrade to Ahrefs $199 plan per month to kind of get the same service you're getting at SEMrush. Now, there are also some other key differences. Like for us, it doesn't really make a huge difference. One of the things that I do think Ahrefs could be really beneficial for is if you were like, primarily a vlogger with a V instead of a blogger, because they have like YouTube tools built in, that kind of stuff. But as a whole, I really kind of prefer the data that SEMrush provides. I think they're more affordable for what they provide. And those are kind of the two big dogs on campus. But that's why we chose SEMrush. I mean, the price point is there and it has all the tools that we personally need. And we save a little bit of money in the process. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are the cheapest, because remember at the end of the video, we're going to give you that the name of the tool that's only $29 per month. So stay tuned.
As Morgan stated, we have a website. Our main website has 6 million page views per year and growing. The main things that SEMrush helps us do is it helps us identify top keywords that our audience is searching for and rank them by keyword difficulty. It also helps us discover technical problems via the website audit. It helps us keep an eye on our competition with comprehensive competitive research and competitor analysis tools. And we can also predict within roughly a 75% certainty how our articles will rank before we even write them, which I think is pretty huge because it takes an investment to put up a blog article, whether you're writing that yourself, that's a time investment, or you're hiring someone else to do it. That's a monetary and time investment because even if you're getting someone else to do it, you're taking the time to check it and proof it and get it up on your website. You don't want to waste your time on that if you're, ranking something or trying to rank something that's going to be way above your difficulty score. SEMrush will give you the knowledge that you need to know whether or not you can rank for something before you waste your time putting it together.
That's also my favorite part about SEMrush, Elena, because like now, like you said, it took all the guesswork out of all of our planning and of all of our articles. And so now that I know with almost absolute certainty, there are always some, variable in there, but like with really good certainty, exactly that my article will rank, about where it will rank, and about how much traffic is actually going going to bring to my website? So now all of my time is really being used hyper efficiently because SEMrush gives you that information. And I also want to wrap this before we get into the $29 alternative by saying we never took a course in SEO at all. And I do not believe that anyone needs to take a course in SEO. There are a lot of people out there that are, like SEO gurus selling all these great courses. I'm sure they're fabulous. We never took one. We just use SEMrush and we listen to this awesome podcast, which I'll plug, called The Blogging Millionaire. It's on Spotify and all the other places you normally get your podcast. I'm not paid to say that, but the guy is amazing. And we learned a lot from him too, but it's all completely free. So I would just suggest like letting the people at SEMrush help you figure out SEO. I would suggest listening to that podcast. And that's really like where all the good stuff is. So don't waste your money on a course, my opinion. And then finally, let's talk about the $29 alternative. All right. So speaking of the podcast, I just mentioned a few minutes ago, the Blogging Millionaire, this guy actually created his own SEO toolkit. So you hear him promote it like a lot in the podcast, but like, he's the one that, invented it basically because he thinks that a lot of SEO toolkits out there are way too expensive for what they are. And so he wanted to make one that's affordable to the masses. And that he has absolutely done. It's called RANKIQ. Okay. Now you might be thinking, oh, I've seen RANKIQ before. I went to the webpage and it says it's $49. Y'all, I've got a screenshot to prove it. All you do after you sign up is it'll give you the $29 option. If you don't see it, you can always go in and adjust your settings. And when you click upgrade plan and just technically downgrade to the $29, but there is a $29 version of RANKIQ. All right. It's an introductory level. Some of the stuff won't be quite as robust. You don't get as many optimization reports, but it is a great way to dip your toe into SEO. And it also doesn't have nearly as much going on for it as SEMrush does. I don't want to say that it's like a, apples to apples alternative here, but again, it's great if you're on a budget. We actually use RANKIQ. Well, I should say Elena uses RANKIQ for one of her websites. It's a little bit smaller because she's on a budget. She subscribes to the standard plan, not the $29 plan. The standard plan is $49 per month, which we also highly recommend. But Elena, do you want to talk a little bit about, RANKIQ and your experience with RANKIQ and how it compares to SEMrush and whether or not it's worth it for you?
I'm still fairly new to RANKIQ. I only signed up somewhat recently. So I think there's probably still quite a bit that I could poke around with. However, that being said, I've now used SEMrush and RANKIQ, I use both. We use SEMrush for our big website, and I use RANKIQ primarily for my little, what I call baby website. Not a website about babies. That's the stage of life that it's in. It's a little baby. And I would say that SEMrush is more robust. I think that it gives me more analysis, more numbers, more information about certain keyword sets. But RANKIQ is a great tool to use. It still will tell you how fast it thinks you can rank for certain keywords. It will still tell you how difficult they are. It'll give you a list, a keyword library that you can start out with. And it's a pretty easy, I think it's fairly beginner friendly. There's a video right on the main page that will show you how it works. That you just watch and you pretty much get a feel for, exactly what it can do and how to use it effectively. Does it give you as many details on the keywords? I don't think it does, at least not from what I've seen so far. But I think if you're kind of dipping your toes in and you're kind of getting a feel for some of this stuff, I think it's a great place to start for sure.
And just $29. I mean, that's like a couple of lunches or a couple of dinners that you skip or whatever. And to have something that, is teaching you about SEO and giving you those keywords and like telling you, hey, look, we think you should write about this. That to me is just completely invaluable. And I always tell people, like, having a small business or having a small website or even a medium website, whatever, it's an investment, right? And if you can't afford $29 to put towards your investment, you're probably going to have kind of a tough road in making that business flourish. It's a small investment in the grand scheme of things. And I can't tell you that it's going to absolutely make your website take off, but I will tell you that using these SEO toolkits for us personally has had that impact. So I would suggest that you highly consider it for yourself.
As we mentioned, we have our main website, but we also have started a few smaller blogs. And with those smaller blogs, we're, from day one, we started implementing strategies that we saw work for our first one. But with our first one, we stumbled our way through it for a while. And we didn't really learn the right way to do things for a few months. And so now it's months of work of backtracking and fixing things that we did wrong the first time around. And with these smaller websites, we're doing it right the first time, and we can already see results. Even as small as they are, we're already seeing results by doing it correctly.
I wish that we had done everything correctly from absolute day one, because it would have saved us so much time. So these tools are especially helpful. I mean, they're helpful to anybody at any point in your journey, but we hope that you use them from day one, because I think that is so important. You'll have way less backtracking on the other end. Yeah.
Keep that in mind if you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe I'm too early, I'm too green, I only have, 5 articles up on my website or whatever. That's the time that you start this.
Yeah, there's a big difference between having baby number one and baby number two. Number one, you're figuring out how to do everything on your own. Baby number two, you're like, oh, I got this. I'm going to do it all right from day one. So that concludes our SEMRUSH review. I hope that was sort of helpful. Again, I have written an in-depth review about this in the link below. I'm also going to provide links to RANKIQ and SEMRUSH in the descriptions below. So make sure that you check that out. These are affiliate links, so I definitely appreciate it, but we are users of these products. We do not promote things that we do not use and that we do not love, because Lord help, I wouldn't be able to answer questions about them and talk about them if I didn't use them. All right. So I would appreciate a little clicky click. And also I'd appreciate it if you follow me on social media. It's at Morgan O Media on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, maybe on TikTok. Yeah, I think it's also TikTok, so you can try there too. And of course, like and subscribe on my YouTube channel right here on the Morgan Overholt Mix. Until next time. So SEO, for all the newbies out there, is something called it's
something called SEO. All right, moving on.